all the rocks falling.
Rocks fall, everybody dies?
Rocks falling is fine, we can deck save those.
Yeah, you can.
Now, if they're those mini fireball encapsulations and then they turn into big fireballs when they pop open, then we're in trouble.
Oh, I'm just going straight Autolus Resilient Sphere and I'm gonna nope the fuck up out of there. Get down.
That'll be the first time I've actively used this belt.
That would help you, and I'll see you in hell.
That's fair, I get that. Has anyone seen that little toy I had for Ushi last week? The bee. No, I took it. I took it out and I was playing with her.
It's right there.
Is it really?
Reach further back.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is George starting to smoke pot now, too?
No.
Apparently the opioids are...
Oh yeah, no, George.
Wait, you even got glasses on today, too.
Well,
how did you...
Okay, no, hold on a second.
You know how like,
these are...
when couples live together too long, they start to look like each other?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jesse, go ahead and put your glasses on. Let's see. Let's see.
No.
I didn't even make that connection very quickly, and so like
I made
now,
it
I just want
immediately.
to hurt him because
They're in the same style.
It's
these
Laura.
are these are blue light filtered glasses. Shut up.
Oh, I didn't even
They
realize
reduce
that.
eye strain.
You comfy, Ushi?
I see Jesse's practicing for his trip to Dubai. You know, all the body hair. Okay.
I was going comfy outside.
Yeah, you were laying in the fucking grass.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let the kid relax.
Whenever I was at school, that's always where I'd sleep. The grass was always comfy and it was always during lunch.
And you were too tired to get up after you were done with the football team, right?
Oh yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Only ever had one.
And if you sleep on grass, the itchiness of the grass matches with the itchiness of all the crabs. So
I've
It's like,
always,
is it crabs that lice or is it antics? Who knows?
I have always been the person that wears pants all the time.
Crabs are lice.
Well, yeah, but they're different. Are they like they're different species?
Well, yeah, but you get
Yeah.
different species all over your body too. So
Yeah.
like some of them don't stray as much as others. So some just like say localized, some end up on like your chest hair, the ones that end up in your clothes.
right. Yeah, because the traditional ones is there's head lice and there's body lice, which are the two traditionally different types.
And there's subspecies
But
too.
there are, yeah. So you'll go to like different continents and get like different types. So like if you go to like
I mean, you
That's like
can
that-
go to different continents. I don't really
we
want to be.
couldn't for a year.
I
so-
mean, I'm okay with not maxing out filling out my Pokédex for that one. I'm good.
I've already seen them, so that's fine.
all right. So with that, last session, leaving the area with the arena from the Medusa in under the gaze of the gigantic, long dead, godlike figure. Heading back through the tunnels, reaching a point where you were in front of the tunnel heading into the Hag's Lair. Heading back into the Hag's Lair, much to everybody's chagrin. Finding out a couple key pieces of information along the way. Losing an item and finding it again. Gaining some information about the cage and its apparent, not immovability, but about as close as you can get to immovability.
Well, it'd been an even bigger insult if you just made the bars out of removable rods. You made it so you couldn't flip them.
You don't know?
Well, he made it very clear that the weight of it is what was pulverizing
I
the rock
know.
underneath it.
I'm just saying, it would have been a bigger insult if you did that.
No, because then it's like that's
Then you
magic.
can actually deactivate it.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's
that would be
magic.
different. Immovable rods can be deactivated. It's a little button on the sleeve.
Yeah, but he was
So-
saying like you make it to where I can't
Yeah,
get to the clicker,
right.
right? And that's still not that big of a fucking deal because like
Do I have to Narcan you? Are you gonna leave this the whole session?
I don't know.
All right, so finishing up with the Hag's Lair for the second time. Though hopefully not the last. We'll see. Time will tell.
When you say hopefully, are you talking about us or you? Because I can answer for us.
Yes.
You can answer for me.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Or can side quests lead her back to that next area?
Continuing on,
Just kicking her butt.
making it back to the Swift-Devlin village. A couple key points of interest were missing upon arrival. Combined with a number of unusual sounds in the distance, led the party to be a little bit more cautious upon entering the village than they normally would. Some feelings were hurt.
Emotional,
Very
physical,
small feelings.
I'm a very small being.
Which means there only needs to be small apologies. I've already said my piece to the universe.
An interesting interaction with a large earth elemental. Upon figuring out that the situation was not dire, everybody decided to be a little bit more bold and brazen in looking for this Swift-Devlin. Finding them on the far side of the village, restocking their newly rebuilt storage huts, talking to the chieftain, getting resupplied, and gaining the information of where they needed to go. Party headed back out to the boats and reached the beach section all the way at the far end of the cavern that leads further up into a rather large tunnel that heads off into the distance. And that was where we ended that session. You come up, pulling the boat up onto a shallow section of the tunnel where the boat can no longer stay afloat. It'll run aground, but the bottom of the tunnel still holds roughly about 3 to 4 inches of water. As far as your dark vision can go, the tunnel stays pretty straight.
This one march in.
Alright.
Marching order and putting light up. Where's everyone going to be?
Are we going to have that conversation about we're going to start rotating? front and
Yeah.
back?
So before we start, So-
Okay, that's what I want to know.
yeah, I'll get it. Damn it! You scared Uchi.
I didn't mean to. I was trying to bounce it off of Jesse's head into the garbage can.
Is that going to be the theme of the night?
I was trying to pull a true Kobe.
No. You would have lit it on fire.
Where's the smear the queer?
Yeah, you like that game. That's what
Right.
You're just like, oh no, you guys are gonna tackle me.
No, honestly, the kid who would be sitting there peacefully on the bleachers and want to get hit the face with a basketball.
So
You-
false
He's
defense.
just running around the football field like the greased up deaf guy. Y'all ain't gonna catch me. Y'all never gonna catch me.
You can't get me.
All right, so
So we do need to have that conversation. Probably better at talking right now.
Yeah, it's like, before you say anything in game,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had agreed originally that we're not going to tell them anything, right? Basically, just
We're just gonna.
stuff's going on. You guys have to trust us. Doth and I are going to start rotating.
well, Dothamar had already had a conversation with R.
Okay.
That was a written conversation between the two of you guys
Mhm.
during the transfer of the watch.
Right.
Okay. So
That's why Kiwis.
what does R know again? Everything?
All of it.
Basically.
Okay.
He got the paraphrase version.
Okay.
Yeah. Gyatso's the only one who's still in the dark.
Literally.
But it's-
So yeah, so we'll catch you up later when things, are a little bit calmer. Basically, we're going to start rotating out front and back watch. Marching orders. stuff and things and stuff. Nothing to be scared of, but you see something weird, raise your hand.
But hopefully more than just him, because you're not very tall.
What else do you want him to raise?
His voice.
Well, just tap.
But don't you not want to alert anything?
I mean, I think it's a little bit more conspicuous to be like, we're just walking along and all of a sudden.
Okay,
it's
if
just
he
like,
screams, I see an eye, that's going to be a little more obvious than...
yeah, no, still, yeah. Not what I meant, but yeah.
Okay, fine, cool. If you see something, say something, or say something quietly, and don't make it weird.
I can say things very quiet.
That
That
doesn't.
just sounds like a rapist.
That's just like.
I literally have
Okay, Keenan,
silent
chest
speech.
He literally has telepathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know because he uses it to scare people like a rapist. Like,
God,
The
You're not
butler was
wrong.
being an ass.
the way?
The butler was being an ass.
No, the butler was being a butler.
the butler was doing his
Exactly.
job, and you like tried to like skullfuck his mind, and you just insulted him. Like,
Wasn't intentional, but yeah.
It was very intentional.
Not at first.
It was very intentional.
Not at first.
Cool.
Hey, I didn't do what I wanted to do.
I don't even remember at this point what
I
it
was going
was.
to cast heat metal on the gold coin he had in his hand.
Uh,
I didn't do it.
because you didn't, or because you weren't allowed to by God.
Yes. Por qué no los dos?
all right, so what's your plan? What you got going on?
Let R and I take the lead for now.
Okay.
We'll put up magical light,
Okay.
and then I'll keep my arcane sight up for as often as I possibly can.
So you're okay going in scouting first, before we get established in the tunnel?
I think if you were to scout first, that would probably be safer for us as overall. But then as we're going along, just to scan for everything,
When you say scan for everything.
or anything magical.
Okay, is the way you guys scan obvious? Because you still don't know this thing is what we know.
The-
And I would
The way I
prefer-
scan is not.
Okay.
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Ooh, is that a magic ability that something else can catch on if it has magical sight as well? If we would know that, I mean.
Traditionally, your detect magic vision would work the same way that regular detect magic is, which means that there is, if I remember right from the description, there's a blue light that emanates from your eyes. Let me double check just to make certain,
You mentioned it before.
but I want to say that was the traditional method.
I'm guessing you saw it before you
Yeah.
came over?
For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around an invisible creature or object in the area that there's magic. You can learn a school of magic, if any. They can penetrate those barriers, but it's blocked by 1 foot stone, weight of copper metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood.
Oh, that's good to know. So we
Okay.
can hide something.
So it doesn't specify that there's any like
Physical
physical
effect.
effect.
No.
Cool. Then then we'll play it that way. I have no reason to change it from the way that the book was. So, yep. So no, there is no visual effect of his detect magic.
Is there any magical effect? Like if it's I can see magic and not just physical.
Yes, because it is a concentration spell. There would be an aura of magic around you that would correspond to, I think it's divination. Isn't that what
Yeah, it's divination.
detect magic is?
Yep.
Right. So it would be a faint divination aura that would be around you. It would not be identifiable as anything more than that, but that would be the most information somebody could get if they were looking at you with, like, say, a detect magic.
Right.
So
Ushi, come on, get down.
you tell me.
Can you cast detect magic through a focus though?
It doesn't work that way. It's my eyes.
No, not you. Would another person be able to cast magic?
Is it like the abilities in him, or is the ability in the eyes?
The ability's in me.
Yeah.
It's in me.
Yeah, to the best of your knowledge, the ability is in him.
It's not my eyes that are magical. Nope.
Now, like our hand, doth eye, when we get up.
Man, you're getting a whole entire magical golem at some point in this whole campaign.
That's gonna be
I
great.
have magic
Don't-
wieners.
Thank you.
As long as whatever's magic on him is my
Shut
dick.
Yeah, grapple.
Oh, who? R? Oh, Gyatso?
No, I want his hands.
Right, you want his hands, you want his eyes.
I mean, every ray spell that I've cast has come from my eyes. So like,
Okay, Cyclops, great.
Gyatso's eyes actually do glow.
Okay, buddy. Like, how's that dark vision going?
Fuck that dark vision.
fuck that dark vision. There we go. All right, so yeah, no, it doesn't. It's not physically obvious, but if someone is looking at me with detect magic, then yes, they would see that I'm using divination magic.
Would they suspect anything?
This isn't. This is not a run of the mill ability. It's not a run of the mill spell. The way I'm using it. So like it would be.
Risky.
As far as risk go, there's like little to none. I don't want to say zero, but little to less than.
It's dark glow.
Roll an Arcana check.
Ooh, good. Don't fuck me today.
Oh.
30.
You know fairly well, especially your days back in the college in Silvery Moon. There are specifically made types of scrying orbs that would allow mages in particular to cast various spells through them, including other divination spells like detect magic, clairaudience, clairvoyance, a number of other things to gain additional information, true seeing, stuff like that. So depending on who it is that's looking at you and their relative strength, it would very well be possible for somebody to gain additional information through one of these scrying orbs.
Gotcha. I'll paraphrase and pass on the information.
So let's maybe try and see if we can figure out what's going on without doing it first.
That's fair.
Because we had decided. Did we decide magical light was going to be more likely or physical light?
Magical light.
Magical light, great.
I think it was magical light. I'm pretty sure it was magical.
Magical light is what was in effect the
Yeah.
one time that the eye was actually seen.
Alright. So it's either that or it's just point beating. How many objects do you cast light on? Just one?
It's a concentration art.
What's up?
The light spell, concentration, so you can only keep it on one single thing at a time, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's one person at a time, concentration.
How big's the radius?
One person or thing. You can
Yeah,
cast
you
it
can
on
my
a thing.
dagger.
A dagger, you could even just use like the tip of a torch without having to actually light it,
Right.
which is always a really cool effect.
Well, last time we did the dagger, so I could have them drop a weapon.
Right.
Um,
Or throw it into the nearest enemy. Now you can like
Or
That doesn't
it's when it
help
runs
the
into, or when it runs into the dark, like you
Right.
have to like follow the glowing thing.
follow the glowing
You
thing.
shoot the glowing thing. It's like
We're
market
going to go
mark.
see a necromancer. We're off to see the wizard.
So how big the radius?
It's
2020.
2020.
2020. You want to just cast it onto him. Who's going to stay in the middle this whole time? Gyatso?
Usually
Alright.
the safest bet.
That'll work.
Turn into a lantern, and then we just take turns front and back.
Amulet.
Skedaddle, skedoodle. You're now a lamp.
So you and Art can hang out in the middle, basically. Doc and I will rotate back and forth. Just in general, keep an eye out. And I will go into the tunnel first. I'll take first watch.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get a perception check from Arkin. And with somebody bringing up the rear, kind of watching your guys' backs. All right, let me get a perception check from you as well.
Okay.
Are you staying within the lighted area?
Yeah.
The dim light, the regular, or the darkness? Where are you going?
Just the regular. I have no reason to go outside of that.
Okay. But you're watching into the darkness, though, right?
Yeah, I'm looking into
Okay, they will be at disadvantage then.
Oh,
It's only regular roll if it's within the lighted area,
gotcha.
if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking out into the darkness, then it is going to be at disadvantage.
Okay.
If I'm hanging out in dim, do I still get the advantage? How do you want to play that?
If you're looking out into the darkness, if that's where you are predominantly looking for trouble,
No, at this
You're-
point my focus is going to be
you're
Dim light.
basically checking everything as it comes into the dim light as you're going.
yeah.
Then it will be with advantage. Yes, it will limit how far you'll get a warning, but yes.
Oh, that's a critical.
That was a 20.
Yeah, 20 plus.
So 28.
You want to go ahead and roll again? See if you can get a second 20.
What are the odds?
I mean, sometimes it's not even worth wasting a second 20 just in case. But...
Nope. Oh.
Okay.
Got one digit.
All right. Total
28.
28. 10. Okay.
Disadvantage. I rolled a 19 on my second roll.
Okay.
I was sitting looking at it like, why is this that? Oh, right. This.
That's why I was upset.
All right. Continuing through the tunnel. The water stays roughly about 3 to 4 inches deep for the better part of half the day.
Is this area considered difficult terrain for Gyatso since it's basically almost a
Balls
blue
deep.
I mean, it's just tickling the bottom of your balls. No big deal. Or lack thereof. I mean, if you chose a snake anatomy, you don't have external testicles, so.
So you should definitely have like a cloaca.
But then, like, water gets in there, does he get a UTI?
We'll see.
Constitution check?
We'll see.
Get plain STDs?
If he waits long enough before he touches fresh water, we'll see what happens. So, continuing on for the better part of the half day. The tunnel continues straight and unalteringly, almost magically straight. The walls themselves are made out of a much lighter, denser gray stone. Almost a very fine-grained granite, if you will. Very close to the same, like, very light, pale gray color. And the tunnel is perfectly circular and perfectly straight. From the cavern that you just left, straight off into the distance.
Does it resemble at all the more structured tunnels we saw when we were going for the rest monsters? There's like the more natural ones versus the carved out ones, or is this even more finely?
This is definitely much more finely made. No, yeah, with your perception check, you would have at least noticed as much as this tunnel looks like it might actually be worked, like man-made. There are no tool marks whatsoever. This was not made by the hands of any creature.
Are there any signs of anything that's crossed? I know I can't look for prints covered in water, but along the walls or anything growing here, anything soiled here, brush marks.
No, not this far into the tunnel. Not this close to the cavern side. There's no marks to see. That's the better part of half the day. Is just straight on until a good 5.5 hours. Let's go ahead and get a perception check from the front and the rear for the final part of the trip.
You still at disadvantage?
If you're still looking off into the darkness, that is correct.
The whole point is we want to see if we catch the eye in the light. Just look at the dim light.
Okay, then I'll just move to the dim light.
You don't have anything that gives you advantage inherently.
No.
Dim light and darkness are
Mhm.
basically the same. Because if you have dark vision, darkness is treated as dim light.
Right.
You have disadvantage.
Right.
So if you're looking within the light, the
area.
the bright lighted sphere, then you have regular roll.
Okay.
So basically, what you're looking for in that case is you're basically watching the party
Right.
to make sure around the party.
Okay, then that's what I'll do
Okay.
instead.
Cool.
And I'll just keep doing what I did last time.
Okay.
Okay.
So for me, it's just straight roll.
Correct.
16, so mod 24.
24
15.
and a 15. Okay. Taking a look, keeping an eye around the party. Nothing shows up for the whole entire time so far. Mod 24. You start to see out towards the very outer edge of where the light can reach. There's a section of tunnel up ahead that looks like something had weakened a part of the ceiling and the side wall, and there was a minor rock slide. It doesn't fill the tunnel, but it covers the better part of half the tunnel and part of the ground, leaving one whole entire side open to be walked around. With a little bit of crawling over the boulders, but yeah.
So no integrity change that we can tell. Does it look like it's newly settled?
Oh, no. With a perception check of that, you don't hear any rocks shifting. You don't hear any, fine sifting of sand or anything through it. If this had happened, it's hard to tell just yet without standing directly on it and really researching it. But there's no signs that show that this thing has been shifted recently.
Okay. Other than the party moving, anything else?
No.
In the water? Okay.
Nothing so far. The water has started to get ever so slightly shallower, barely imperceptible, but it is just slightly shallower than it was before. Currently, probably sitting just over 3 inches deep.
And the water feels mostly just kind of stagnant?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Nothing growing on it, no algae whatsoever growing across the bottom or anything like that. The water appears to be clean and fresh.
okay.
So it's good when he was still a virgin.
No,
Inches
even
deep,
then
but
he
You're
wasn't.
creating a lot of innocence to virginity. You should.
No, I was talking about before he got like STDs or anything.
No, he developed his own STD. I don't think he actually contracted them from anybody. He developed his own.
He's like the real life version of Glenn Quagmire, except
Quagmire's actually kind of a sweetheart sometimes.
I was
Yeah.
getting there. I was getting there. Like, except a million of yours.
See, I was going to say that Cody is what all conservatives think the Wuhan lab was. Cody is the place where all the viruses start from.
Who was it recently?
Which prince in hell is it that's in charge of play?
Baphomet?
No.
Isn't it?
That was
Not
Beelzebub.
Jubilant. Not
Beelzebub is like this, like Lucas.
Beelzebub.
But he doesn't do.
Disease King Plague.
Is it King of Plague?
It would be
Is it
Beelzebub.
Beelzebub? Okay. What about the
Possibly.
cold powers?
Huh?
That's just where Beelzebub, he just releases Cody into the area.
That's true.
I'm just-
He's the avatar of Beelzebub.
I'm just saying he's Beelzebub's lab rat. So when you need to
There
go
you
on
go.
site, you just release the Cooper. And so
Yeah.
anytime Cody gets something up his ass, be like, I need to move somewhere.
Right.
That just means a little dog whistle going off in Orlando. Anyway, okay, so
You see the poll numbers start like there's been a noticeable lessening of STDs in the area of Orlando. Cody hears the whistle.
yeah, I'll say because the Harem's that's going to binge weekend. All right, so I guess without anything too suspicious, I'm kind of curious about the rock slide because this has been kind of a naturally structured tunnel. As the party catches up and I get more light,
Mhm.
I'll kind of hold back around the rock slide so as they're passing, I can kind of look
Zuzu.
at it a little more.
Huh?
Zuzu.
Interesting.
Like Futurama.
Does it make me think about it?
That was the one from Exorcist.
No.
And anytime I hear it, I just think of
I'll
the
look at it.
professor
I'll look it
going,
up.
Yeah.
zoo, zoo, as he flies off into the
And for
distance.
fucking Futurama.
Okay.
So that would be my intention.
Okay, so you're gonna hang out.
Because we're going to pass off at some point anyway, front and back, so that might be my...
Okay. What's the party's plan moving forward?
This is about a day's worth of travel. Right? Right? This is about a day. or three
This would
fourths?
have been probably about you're coming up right on the end of like 8 hours of travel.
You guys want to make camp close to here? As long as there's nothing hiding behind this, it's a good place for us to hide behind, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So
We
let's
could
check
probably
out-
go further as well.
Well, if we scout a little further, then come back to make sure that we have the same spot.
That's a good idea.
So we're going to walk 2 hours and come back to...
I'm not saying that we walk 2 hours and come back 2 hours. I'm saying like definitely not what I'm saying at all, but to at least scout just maybe, if anything, 15 minutes ahead.
Well, yeah, we're not just going to be like, right here without looking around at all.
Right.
Like, do we ever do that? I think I...
Sometimes.
Actually, we kind of do.
Yeah, we do that.
We do that.
Sometimes be like that.
We don't do sometimes.
Jesse, can I get one of my orange Mountain Dews, please? So, what are you guys doing? You guys passing? What's your
I
plan?
want to look at the rock slide.
Did you put them in your thing?
Oh, I didn't.
What did you say?
Yes, please. You pass this to Jesse so you can.
Nothing.
Because it's in the bag.
That's interesting. I didn't know that I actually had a Baja Blast in there.
You
didn't.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, that was yours.
Oh shit!
Ah, okay. Well, now you got one of mine. All right. So, what's the plan for what are you guys doing?
However far you guys want to walk ahead, we'll scout. I'm still willing to look at the rock slide while you guys are walking around and figuring it out.
So let's
I
all
say
go
we
look
scout
at
30 minutes.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna be looking, if you're looking at the rock slide, you know, it doesn't hurt to have more than one set of eyes on something.
Well, y'all go check out the rock slide then, and me and
So you put this. I take my light.
Well, I didn't say let's split
y'all
the
need
party.
the light too.
'Cause I'm seeing.
The two squishies are going to scout ahead by themselves.
I ain't that squishy, but y'all need the light too, though.
So if we hear firewall, I'll know what's going on.
All right, we'll just hang out here then. If we feel.
Yeah, my intention wasn't to like spend all the time on it. My intention was to basically like I was hanging out in the dim light, so as you guys are starting to catch up, I'm just gonna use that light to
Okay.
go.
Okay. So,
So I'm gonna
What
look
are
at
you
the
guys
rock
doing?
slide while everyone's shifting around, and then I guess we're gonna scout ahead about another 30 minutes, see if this is a good place to make camp, and we'll come back.
okay. So you're crossing the rock slide as a party, individually. How are you guys doing this?
My intention was to hit it first.
Okay.
Like, so I'm hanging out in that dim light area, and then my intention was to kind of start looking at it as they're catching up. So
Okay.
R and Gyatso were essentially in the center
Mm-hmm.
of the light because he is the light.
Mm-hmm.
So I was probably like
The
15 feet ahead of them.
picture this tunnel, rock slide. This is the area that you basically have to cross
Mhm.
to get to the other side of the rock slide. As the light comes up on it,
Mhm.
unless the light is above it, you're not getting a view anywhere
Right.
of the rock.
I know,
You'll get a view of the rock slide, but not inside. So that's what I'm trying to figure out
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm aware that I can't see beyond the rock slide, and that's the issue. It's like it would be a good place for us to hide if something isn't already hiding behind it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I can't see behind it.
You can get enough of a sense that the rock slide itself is probably every bit of 30 feet long of the tunnel. Like as the light gets close enough to where like the ambient light's bouncing off the rocks and all that, you can get a sense of how far the rock slide goes.
So the tunnel's about 60-ish, 50-ish. You said about half. It's about half. 30 deep or 30?
It's about
across?
30 feet deep. As far as the size of the tunnel, you're looking at 20 foot from side to side, perfectly round. So it's 20 foot side to side, 20 foot up and down. Perfectly circular tunnel, bored straight through the hole, or straight through the stone.
You already know what I'm thinking.
Really, really big.
Fucking more.
It's the only thing that can make a hole like this.
Yeah, that's one.
Okay, so it's not like it's like much further along. Okay, well then. You guys are at center, so I was probably 15 feet ahead of you. I'll drop that extra 5. So I'm more brightly lit. If I was 15 feet ahead, then to be in the dim light. 5 feet should put me just on the edge of bright light, right?
Give or take. You tell me where you want to be,
Yeah,
and you'll be there.
Okay, that's where I want to be.
Just inside the bright,
Yeah,
or just outside?
just inside. I want to be able
Just
to
inside
see.
the bright? Okay. And then moving over the...
Yeah, I'll start to kind of step into the rock slide and maneuver the lower area. And I just kind of like get a sense of maybe if it looks like intentional or natural rock falling because it's been so structured. And then once I discern that or figure out that I can't discern that, I'll move along.
Okay.
I might as well just keep scouting. Please no. Okay.
No, it's just this. At some point, this hurts your mind. So I'm awake. I'm still here.
Okay. I can't sleep.
I'm not gonna go to sleep.
George Stewart.
A Nora marker if you do.
Hmm?
We'll find the marker for Nora if you do.
No, start writing on me when I'm asleep. There's nowhere.
Don't worry, we'll just put like pickle chips over each eye between you.
Yeah, you think the fairy mail take pickle chips?
Okay, so what are you doing for light on the rock slide? You bringing Gyatso up with you?
Like that, my intention was to fall back.
Right, so
Into-
that effectively you'll be out in the front, but the party comes with you over the
Yeah.
rock slide. Is that everybody else's intention as well? Just making sure.
Yeah.
I'm not. Okay. So,
I killed you all.
marching order is Arkin, Gyatso, R, and Dothamar bringing up the rear.
I'm not super far behind. I'm still
Yeah,
like.
he was
Gotcha.
seeing the brighter.
Right, you're still within the bright light.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's like
Gotcha.
5 feet, 10 feet, 5.
All right. Go ahead and make a perception check. Because you said that you were checking to see if this is a natural rock fall or unnatural rock fall, something along those lines.
Alright. Is it still at advantage? Because I'm in bright light now? Or
Yes.
how are we going to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're checking the stone as the bright light comes across it. Yeah.
Just making sure. 16, so mod 24.
Mod 24. Okay. The rock slide's quite large. You can't really see anything but the very, very edge of the, for lack of a better word, let's call it the opening where the stone was falling through from the ceiling / side wall.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as you can tell, everything looks natural. There's no scorching, there's no scratching, there's no tool marks, nothing of that nature.
Yeah, nothing, no like imminent.
Correct. There's no immediate signs that anybody's worked on this or that anybody had any form of like intention behind this.
Still hearing just us?
Still hearing just you guys.
How can so I can see to the roof?
Yes.
Of the rock slide.
Correct.
Yeah. It's
Here,
impacted.
you got this. You can see this third of the tunnel, if you will, is right here. The very edge up here where the rock slide meets is the part of the broken ceiling that you can see where the rocks basically have been coming down and slid this way, and you can see that that part is still intact.
Okay. Yeah, we still no sign of the eye, no sign of life. It's just us, as far as I can tell.
As far as you can tell,
Okay. Well, I'm happy with that. I'll go ahead and start jogging a little bit back into the gym.
oh, to the party.
Back into the dim light where I
Oh,
was.
a little bit further ahead.
Yeah, like, so once I got my answer, I was going to start to kind of move a little further ahead to get this over with.
Okay. So that puts you forward about another 15 feet.
5 feet because it's 20.
Oh,
20.
just pushing into the dim light.
Right, because I'm just looking at the dim light to hopefully catch the eye.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so party moving along. Taking a couple steps further onto the avalanched area of stone. Putting a foot down on a stone, you can see on the wall just to the left of your foot as a magical glyph glows orange. I need the party to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Boy, guys.
Unfortunate.
Don't I do something with that? Is that invasion? Fuck you. I'm allowed to lucky saving throws, right?
That is correct.
That did not true.
Who'd you go with?
Not even enough.
Oh, that's not good.
I'm a friend. Hey, that.
You have
So you totally like Vietnam villager with my legs. Got it.
better, cracking walnuts with a unexploded grenade.
I don't think where that story came from.
I saw it on Tumblr.
I know.
You want it? Come on, bitch. Right. Down. Bitch.
I'm good on Tumblr.
Buzz. Ishi.
All right. Start from front to back. Arkin,
17 after burning and lucky. And then do I get
with
to use
evasion,
anything?
you take no damage. As the glyph beside you and one directly on the ceiling above you both glow a bright orange for just a moment. They go from non-existent to a very intense orange. And just at that moment, you watch as the stone on the sidewall and ceiling explode in your direction. Are you dodging forward or backward?
Backward.
Backward.
Watch out.
Gyatso
Mod 25.
with evasion, also taking no damage. Are you dodging forward or backwards?
I mean, hell, I probably have the best chance of getting through these glyphs, so I might as well be the one to activate them. I'm activating the belt, and then I'm dodging forward. It gives me advantage on dex saving throw.
Right, but
Intriguing.
not us. So we're going to be moving in slow motion through explosions while you're just hopping around and causing more
Okay.
explosions that we can't react to.
Activating the belt with but a second's notice. You turn the belt, and all of a sudden, it's as if the rocks themselves are falling in slow motion. As you leap forward, rolling past Arkin. Taking no damage. R,
I got a 15.
15.
Yes.
You take 21 points of bludgeoning damage as a number of large rocks from the ceiling roll down, catching you across the side and thigh. Dothromar, are you dodging forward or backwards?
Oh, backwards.
Okay.
Mod 24.
Mod 24.
No,
Natural
not
24.
mod. Not,
No, I got a nat 20, but
Nat 20.
I add 4 to my
yeah,
deck,
so that's
so
not one.
You have an 18 dex. Intriguing. Okay.
Yeah.
So, forward or backwards?
backwards.
Backwards. You take 10 points of bludgeoning damage as a number of the rocks that didn't hit R come rolling and just barely catch the ankles and calves.
How much did you say?
21.
You went backwards.
As the stone starts to rain down around you, I need everyone to make a second dexterity saving throw.
I'm gonna pop out of loops on myself. Resilience sphere.
Okay.
All
right.
What if it's a
You
magic
watch as
trick?
Dothromar enacts a shield around himself.
If you knock loose rocks, I start fucking die. Taking both your eyes and stuff.
You do not have to make a dexterity saving throw. I need R and Arkin to make a dexterity saving throw, and Gyatso.
Hope you get stuck.
I got a 20.
This way I don't think
20?
I can't do that good a roll ever again.
Ooh, that's bad.
That's alright. Hopefully it's as good as it was last time.
What'd you say yours was?
20.
20. That is 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
17
17. You
with evasion.
take 11 points of bludgeoning damage as well. And as you try to retreat,
Ah, shit.
there is nowhere left to go. Gyatso,
Mod 21.
Mod 21. Diving forward with your enhanced additional speed, you manage to make it just to the far side of the avalanched area as rocks crush in behind you. I need 2 of you to make dexterity saving throws again.
How far did Gyatso go forward?
All the way, it sounds like.
He would have been all the way to the far
Yeah,
edge.
it was about 30 feet, and we were just like 5 feet down
They-
or whatever.
She triggered it when it was the halfway point, at the 15 feet in. He swapped places with her.
And
Then his second one with the additional movement speed from the belt meant that he made it all the way through.
Gotcha.
So we've got like probably 20 feet to run. We went backwards.
Well, you guys had already moved the once, so you would have moved back 5 feet.
But I'm in the way.
Can I see through his sphere?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same button you put Arcane in at some point, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That saved your life.
Are you trying to get me to not levitate you when you come out of that?
All right.
22.
Okay. You take 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
24 mod.
You take no damage. Somehow managing to stay above the rock slide, bouncing between the ones falling down and the wall, they collapse down below you, slowly filling the tunnel up around you. Gyatso, you are on the far side at this point, watching as the rocks continue to pile down, filling up the space that you had just dodged through.
I just say run. I'm gonna yell run.
I need 2 more. I need another dexterity saving throw from both of you.
Can we just assume that we're just running
It's-
and risking having mines cut my legs?
Are you moving in the direction Gyatso went?
Yeah, I can't move backwards. I might as well run forwards.
Okay.
Same. Actually,
Because if rocks are falling and exploding, like, I mean, we're just going to either get buried and suffocate or.
can I still see where Gyatso is?
You
It's
would
glowing.
be able to see the light.
He's glowing.
In other words,
Wow.
the area around him is lit up, so you would absolutely be able to see the area where he's at.
And he's about 30 feet away.
He's less than 30 feet away.
Less than
Oh,
30
less.
feet. Can I face step to him?
Yes, you may. You absolutely may. So you do not need to make a dexterity
Have
saving
you
throw.
misty stuff, you rat bastard?
Yeah, but I can only go by myself. But I want to drop Auto Lukes and Dimension Door us out. Seeing him do that, I want to drop that, grab her Dimension Door up to where Gyatso is.
Okay.
When I get a good roll, you guys do that.
Okay. Dropping Autolux, you feel the boulders that had piled up
Oh.
on the side of it slide down and hit you
Legs.
across the legs.
Yes. Lieutenant Dash.
God damn, I'm trying to count here.
Well, there's 2 legs.
Oh, Kumar.
God damn it. It's actually the lowest roll I've had so far. 16 points of bludgeoning damage as the rocks slide down, pinning your legs in place. As you reach forward and touch Arkin on the back and Dimension Door both of you to the far side of the rock slide area. As you all hear the final rocks slide down in place, sealing the tunnel behind you.
Got something there.
Yeah, this isn't loading you. Why didn't you just do that sooner?
Has it been 2 minutes? Or whatever?
2 minutes.
How long does it take it?
Oh, this would have been all in the span of probably less than 30 seconds.
Okay.
So
It happened
31
quick.
seconds until I back out.
From explosion to appearing on the far side through the dimension door, it was less than 30 seconds.
Well, might as well go ahead and you guys start looking for camp. I'll just scout ahead a little bit further.
While I do that, I'm gonna sit down
Yeah,
real
'cause you're
fast
gonna-
before I
Because he's going to need a nap.
nap. It's like
I need it.
6 seconds or something.
Yeah, I need a fucking nap too. I'm almost dead.
Yeah, it was already been a long day. You're gonna collapse from magical exhaustion. We almost died. Let's just take a nap.
Yeah.
Can I
So
have
since
light on
it's
something?
since it's caved in behind us, I'm just gonna be like, are we napping here? Okay, cool. And I'm gonna put Guardian of Faith in front of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, did you say what you said to me in game or out of game?
In game.
You said in game. Cool. I'm casting Leomans, and I'm not including him.
Serious? Up to you.
Would that count as splitting the party because we're separated by physical objects?
No, I won't really do it.
I just want to hear the reasoning behind it.
If you're trying to teach Jesse a lesson, that's the wrong way to do it. If
Yeah,
you're trying
I
to
know.
teach Gyatso a lesson, then you're metagaming not doing it.
Yeah.
So it's up to you.
I just okay.
Da- my ego would definitely do something like that. Dothamar has a better control over
Yeah.
himself, so he would
So this is
not. He'd think about it. He wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, at this point, he's gonna be so tired that we just do whatever we want until like passes out.
Not the best of ideas to do that to the loser.
What are you talking about? Him.
Oh, him.
That's
Oh,
why I
yeah.
said we have to stop. I know he uses belt
Yeah.
because
Oh,
he like magically poofed
For the way for
30
rest.
fucking feet.
Want to swap
Yeah.
spells.
And it's my belt. I know what it does.
okay.
So that's why I said we're making it camp because I know in like 10 seconds he's about to pass out.
Yeah.
I'm not carrying it.
It's like a 6-second nut off, isn't it?
It's 6 seconds of stun. Yes.
We can do lucky in 6 seconds, but
Oh, yeah.
Because I do all of
Like 30 feet of movement, full actions, bonus actions. All kinds of stuff happens now in 6 seconds. My dude. Yeah. Once.
All right.
Don't write text with your mouth. Your mouth,
So
your
when
ass
he-
can't catch.
when he reverses time,
Remember, monks are one of the worst possible things for a wizard to fuck with.
Yeah, that's true, but you can't really
when
do
he
much of
reverses
something
time, is it like the action never happened, or he
Yeah, but neither
experiences-
can you.
Does he experience the action in reverse when he undoes it?
Well, he did with throwing up.
He
Yes,
did.
it
So
would
it
be.
can.
Ooh.
So we can pierce him places.
Ooh, how do you feel about Prince Albert?
That's only one piercing, though. You might as well,
The
like,
Jacob
I said
Yeah.
Albert's.
yeah, you might as well Jacob's ladder and get like a good.
Yeah, no, we
view
could
in there.
like, yeah, no, a full on.
Y'all are being tame. I thought you were
Like-
going like stick a needle through his nuts or something.
Well, I said piercing.
nuts.
piercings. Yeah, no,
All
I'm
right.
I'm going
There's
for both
four
the heads at
hands.
once
So-
with a dull quill.
How far ahead are you going?
I still want to be able to see the party.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
Easy enough, considering the tunnel is perfectly straight.
Nice and unnerving.
Fuck you.
Until Leomans goes up and everybody's inside, you would still be able to see the light from a very long distance away. So it's up to you. How far do you want to go and scout ahead?
Well, my intention would be, no, I'll just rely on. I don't want to rely on dark vision. I would ask Art for to transfer the light. Since they're going to be making camp, they're going to have their own light.
Okay. I transfer light over.
I want magical light.
Okay. All right. Good enough. So heading forward, a decent distance with the light and everything. Go ahead and make a perception check. Are you concentrating only on the sections that come into your view, or are you concentrating on things ahead?
Everything within dim light in.
Dim light in.
I'd kind of be doing a sweep.
Okay.
I'm still wanting to make sure we're not followed. Now I'm concerned about booby traps. It's still a very structured tunnel, which makes me nervous.
Right. Okay. And how far? What's the total distance that you're traveling forward to scout?
40 feet. I would probably lose sight of them before they entered the hut.
Like, not too far from where you're. I mean, like, literally the 40 feet of light that you've got. effectively, once they're out of that view, they're basically out of your sight. Technically 20 foot further because of your dark vision, but
Even if they have like a fire or something before the hut.
it's up to them if they're lighting any fire or anything like that. I mean, if they have a fire going, then you can keep a distance. You can keep an eye on them for quite a distance.
Yeah.
Like I said, nearly infinite, just because of how straight and
Light travels.
I don't play.
But
I don't play.
I don't want
I don't play with that nonsense that as soon as the fire is out of your dark vision, that you don't. Yeah, you can't see it. Fuck that nonsense. This is the real fucking world. To some extent or another, you can see a fire going for as long as you have line of sight.
I would go. How are you guys doing the?
Lemons?
Yeah, are you doing it right now? You're getting it right now.
It takes them 11 minutes.
It takes 11 minutes for it to
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll go like maybe like 100, 120 yards. I'd still shoot an arrow towards them if something happens.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make. You mentioned you're watching for.
I'm still keeping a look for that eye.
Uh,
I'm still interested in booby traps now. Some things obviously
mhm,
setting traps that wasn't a natural occurrence.
correct.
And
You've seen somewhat. You know the basic idea of what those glyphs are.
we're,
Even though you're not a magic user, you've run into them enough times to where you know the basic concept.
I know we're moving towards a powerful magical foe. So I want to make sure that we have a decent idea of what's at least laid here already.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me get a perception check at advantage.
So nat 20.
That was a total of what, 28? 28. Okay.
Why can't you do that?
Moving forward at a slow, careful pace. There's nothing really to see in this whole entire tunnel. There's nothing to hear. You can still hear your party behind you getting everything set up and ready. No noises from up ahead. Let's go ahead and get a investigation check as well, because you said you were looking for booby traps.
Now, does the silence feel like a natural stillness, or does it
Natural
feel...
stillness.
So 10, 18.
18. Okay. Moving forward, you reach about 200 feet away from where the rock slide was. And bending down, you can see a slight disturbance in the water. It doesn't look like it's moving, but as your light plays across it, it looks almost as if the water itself is indented to a certain extent.
How large is that indentation?
A number of very small, fine ones that create the appearance of a pattern.
How far apart, roughly, are each one?
The lines intersect at a number of different locations. Roughly, the whole entire pattern takes up a space circular, roughly about 1.5 feet.
So it's kind of like a crisscross. Or...
It's not a set pattern. It's very... You can't really quite tell what the pattern is, but it's definitely... It's not all straight lines. Some curves, some swirls, some separate from the other pieces.
Do I feel like I'd be able to replicate it at all? If I tried to do it?
you've seen things similar to this, but this isn't something that's going to stay in your head.
Okay.
There's some sort of a magical essence that as soon as you stop looking at it, you can't
It's
recall
gone.
what the shape was.
And it's the only one that I can see.
It's the only
My
one that you
vision.
can see on the ground.
Where that's crystal water. What about along?
What's that? I can't hear you.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, would I see anything similar up along the walls? But I wonder if the indentation is because of the water. But
Are you going to look at the sides? Looking at the sides, following it, tracing it up the side wall, with that perception or with that investigation check, you can see at the midpoint of the tunnel,
on the roof,
on the side wall,
the side wall.
it's less of a scratch and more of, it almost looks like something was scratched there and then like somebody rubbed their hand over it to like erase the scratch, but it didn't erase it entirely. And tracing the scratch around with your eyes, the shape matches the one, to the best of your knowledge, on the ground.
Those are the only two I can see in my vicinity without moving.
Continuing around. On the other wall, now that you've seen what to look for on this one, it's pretty easy to pick out. There is at least a third one on the other side.
Also around midpoint.
Yep. Exactly at the midpoint.
It's a perfect tunnel. And this is that roughly 120 feet in.
It is exactly 200 feet from the last, or from the center of the rockfall.
Can I still see their light, or does it look like they're getting ready to enter the tent? How long has it been?
At this point, you've seen Dothamar cast a spell enough. He's pretty close to the end of casting the spell at this point.
Yeah, I'll head back.
Pretty damn close to it.
I'll head back. I'll keep my eye out just in case I miss something on my way in. Now that I know what I'm looking for.
Okay. With your perception and investigation rolls, you didn't miss anything between that glyph, and you can feel confident you didn't miss anything between the glyph and where they're setting up camp. Okay. What would you like to do next?
Just make camp and sleep.
No, we should still keep to the watch. Like I don't feel like we're being directly observed now, but it's best to keep in the habit of that.
Can you cast light? Well, no, Layman's has a concentration spell, so you can't keep magical.
It's not a concentration
It's
spell.
not?
But I don't have a light cantrip. I can cast light, just a lot of it, really quickly.
So how do you feel about exhaustion levels?
Why? I can
That
take some
magical light
watch.
the only guarantee that we're not being, well, it's not even a guarantee. That's fine. Alright, are we gonna do watch how we did last time? You take first, you take second, 4 hour.
Yeah.
Human gets to be a lazy bone.
Yeah. I guess, do you want first watch or do you want me to have first watch?
I'll take first watch.
Okay.
You seem a little bit more beaten up than I am.
You didn't want to do anything with your wolf thing.
I'll be doing. Fuck.
Remember, he said it's better to do it before you sleep, so you can do the whole.
Yeah, I
But
know.
then also, like,
I know. I can still whenever he's.
Yeah,
We're only doing like 2 hours at a time. Watch, right?
right?
4
Pretty
hours.
much.
Oh, is it? I thought it
I
was
mean,
4 hour and 4 hour.
It depends on how you guys want to do it. Because as the human, you can sleep for 6 hours and then 2 hours of very light activity.
Right, but usually they split the. I never take a watch.
Right.
I'll use my 2 hours of leisure, but what we discussed last time, I want to
Mhm.
take my 2 hours of leisure when R's awake,
Right.
not when he's awake.
Okay.
Oh. Man,
Because I feel like if I need
Come in.
open barley, open wheat.
Oh.
Is the cat right out?
Hold on, don't go nowhere, kid.
Hey, Faith.
There's other people in here too, Faye.
Hi, Faith. I hear you have a birthday coming up.
I know it's on the 23rd.
Only one? You don't have two of them this time?
No,
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to be like 20 years old this time.
no, I'm only 6.
Oh, man.
I'm about to be 7.
All right. Close.
Thank you,
I was
Faith.
close.
She's such a little shit.
All right. Gyato, same basic concept. You need to sleep for 6 hours, 2 hours of very light activity. So you can start off with 2 hours of very light activity, taking a watch alongside Dothamar. That at least gives him 2 hours that he can do what he wants with his leisure time. He can get the full 4 hours to be able to do, what you actually want to.
right,
But it doesn't mean that you can't do something.
right.
And then that leaves you a full 6 hours of sleep. And then Arkin can do the exact same thing on the opposite end. 6 hours first, 2 hours at the end, taking a watch with R.
I didn't realize I could do the 2 hours first.
Huh?
I'll do that then.
All right, cool.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you just have to do something like.
Like basically nothing. Like you can get up and pee, but other than that, like things like simple meditation, keeping a very simple watch, as long as you don't have to like hit anything, use it, like exert yourself in any way, doesn't break your long rest. So
Will
Yeah.
it break the long rest if I use the jumps? Just have a clear audio up ahead while I do my 2 hours of leisure?
yes, it's mentally taxing to do something like
I wasn't
that.
sure if it would be
That's
because
why,
of the
like,
focus. Okay.
that's why, like, so you can keep like kind of stand, like you're consciously awake. But if you want to do like more in-depth like perception checks or watches, it ruins it because you're mentally. Like, working.
Right.
I'll
Yep.
just sit right there with Dolphin and do some light meditation then.
Okay. Good to know. All right, so that gives you a chance. I'm assuming you're figuring out what you want to do as far as your stuff goes. Okay.
And then I'll share. We still have light, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still on you.
For a second before you pass out. When we're inside the layman's hut, I want to do one last move. Before he goes to sleep.
Around inside of Layman's.
Yeah, just to see if I can see.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Oh, I didn't see shit. 13.
All right. You didn't see shit.
I didn't see shit.
Everything looks just the way that it should.
Alright, so I'll let everyone know while we're setting up the beds and watches that, I found some traps about 200 feet in. So I'll start playing around with that.
So, I was meaning to ask you during the week, but did you ever go back and look at the videos for whenever we were traveling to the plane of water?
I didn't get a chance to this week.
No?
No, because I was busy with dating.
Gotcha. Are we still operating under the assumption that I don't have those ritual spells in my book?
Correct.
Okay. If that's the case, then there's a couple that I would. There's one that I would like to. Couple that I would like to. Go ahead
To
and do.
transfer over?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm still fairly confident that I put them in there while we were on the boat.
You were working on the spells on the boat, but I don't know what you worked on.
Remember you were using materials and gold.
Yeah.
So.
Because we asked about like how much paper you had. And
Yeah.
That's sort of
Yeah.
that whole thing.
I remember.
I don't know what you wrote though. I'm sorry about it. It would have been secret.
The one in particular that I do know for a fact you made it a point to mention on that trip was water breathing.
Yeah.
So,
They're
I
only
mean,
sure.
I know for an absolute certain that was one of the ones that you definitely mentioned. Now, as far as any of the other ones past that I don't remember. While you're doing that, first watch passes without a problem. These tunnels, as barren and as barren and lifeless as they have been up to this point, seems to have continued. Gyato, or anybody, changing attunements, changing spells, everything on the up and up.
Ring of Dark Vision off, bracers on.
Okay, good to know.
Double checking about how far away from the necromancer are we roughly?
You've still got roughly about another
Is it multiple days?
day. Yes,
Okay, so
full day. Probably 2 days.
okay,
Probably 2 full days.
if that's the case, then I won't be changing my tune. Good catch, I saw that.
My reflexes improve when I get back into like working and stuff.
And when you're sober,
That too.
Are we sober yet?
Mm-hmm.
he actually came down while we were all outside.
They saw the like noticeable energy loss.
No, it's just you saying that you were coming down while we were outside. So maybe he's not all the way sober just yet.
I was about to say the way he was shoveling like peanut butter cups in his mouth.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think that's also just how he eats.
Is it 1 hour or 2 hours to transfer?
It's 1 hour per. It's 1 hour per spell level. If I'm not
Is it 1
mistaken.
hour? I thought it was
Yeah.
2 hours.
Ooh.
Double check for me just to make absolutely certain.
No.
I thought it was 2 hours. Because I want to say I remembered looking at it last week,
Mhm.
but I don't remember now right off the top of my head. But okay, so you changed attunement. Dothamara not changing attunement yet. Next watch.
I'm not changing anything. I'm just going to doodle.
Okay, good to know.
Oh,
Turn it out.
that is correct. All right,
Cool.
so then just the first one, it is 2 hours.
Just the first one.
Yeah.
No problem. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you'll have access to that when you wake up from your long rest?
Yep.
Okay. So, you're doing on your long rest, drawing in your book? Okay. Anything you want to do on your
Not really.
time of watch? Just kind of keep watch.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Check all your texts, see if there's a few drops left.
I can't work on here. I need downtime for that.
I mean, let's face it,
For what?
alcoholic.
Spell I was working on. I need to actually go to the archivist to work on it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you didn't bring any materials and stuff like that as far as that goes. Yeah.
I'm still thinking of evocation spells.
Right. Evocation spells
Yeah, take half the time.
half the time, and yeah, absolutely.
It's okay, Dragon.
It's
Never
nice.
excuse.
Oh, at least I'm in good company, I guess.
It's nice when this isn't.
Oh, we'll
He's
get back
done
to
it
you.
once.
Yeah, no, like this is the first time I've showed up to
And for a
session.
medical
Hi.
reason.
Yeah, no, like without
Right.
this right now, I wouldn't be able to
I
play.
went like an entire month without showing up.
He hasn't fallen asleep at the table yet.
And it's like,
Yeah, no.
I did that one time.
Yeah,
And
I
No,
still
he
have
caught
done it.
you.
None.
That you got
Hey.
caught.
No, actually, I've only done it.
Hey, I'm okay with it. I only had to talk to you about it as a DM one time. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, no.
You're not a coach. Never mind.
The reason I've started-
Everyone else, we're gonna dogpile shit on.
The
Right.
reason I've started smoking again recently is my fucking body's just hell from working again. And even then, I only do it like
Wait.
about an hour and a
Hold-
half to 2
hold-
hours
hold
in advance.
Is this where I'm supposed to cry you a river?
No, look,
Do I need
I'm
to
just
cry you a
saying,
river?
Most people work for a living.
Do you want me to?
I
Do you want me
know.
to stand up and you can count
I'm
the
the
cracks
kind
that
of
you
clumsy
hear?
person though that moves really fast and doesn't care if I get hit and keeps moving. I guess.
Is that
We didn't need to hear about your sex life. We're talking about.
God damn it! Like by a fucking second.
All right, so
I think I've rearranged half their kitchen with like my hips by now.
What hips?
The bones that I have.
okay, you
don't
went with
fit on
the
them.
hip joke. I'm sitting here going again.
Then
You
what
don't
Jared's
need to
like,
hear
yeah,
about
I'm
your
like,
sex
again,
life.
I don't need to hear about like what you
I mean, we
think
already
about.
know you're a pansexual. We don't need to hear what you're doing in the back with all of
Oh,
the
they
jump
have
dishes,
All the rest of the
pans.
right?
Goddamn.
You're just like them Paul Revere's though. You know,
On a
fucking-
real note, though, I literally have
Are
a
you
stack.
doing now, Frank?
Actually,
Like
I
some
would do
thick
that.
one
For
of the
sure.
holidays.
Those
On
Paul
a real
Revere
note,
pants are
though,
really nice though. Fuck.
They have like
Alright.
a stack of really nice frying pans. I want to take one. Like they're perfect for fucking cooking. Like,
For
Okay.
fucking
perfect.
cooking.
Okay,
Shut up.
phrasing that
Wait,
one
was that a
second,
comma I heard in there?
Right?
Yes.
Fucking
Fucking and cooking.
cooking, looking at house decor.
All right.
We're going for
Alright.
fucking cooking.
So that ends the second watch uneventfully.
Fuck.
So
As far as I know.
Lehman's hut going down.
Yeah.
Everybody packing up. Next move is yours.
I have a box. You need this?
Sharpener.
Oh, sure.
R and I stay in the center. Arkin, you guys said you wanted to switch, so Arkin's in the back and Doth is in the
We
front
meant
now.
throughout the day, but
Okay.
I think maybe since I found the booby trap, which went just throw Doth up front.
That's probably not a good idea. Yeah. No.
I mean, I'm totally game in playing parakeet, but I don't know if he's gonna be
Hey,
someone
Doth.
that's gonna kill me too.
You Doth should stay like 30 feet ahead.
A little more than 30. Let's do 60.
You don't want me to actually take up the rear. I can keep watch on that.
Keep watch on.
Well, unlikely anything will be coming from behind, but in case something comes from behind.
Right.
Are you gonna put light back up?
Yeah,
I think at this
who
point,
wants it?
just put on
Lamp.
so.
And lamp pistol one. Actually, I'm probably about the same size as an actual lamp.
You're short enough for a lamp.
You're just slightly taller than your average torch.
So
So if we put a torch in him, we could get an extended torch.
does that mean? Wait, I got a question. Does that give him the versatile functionality?
It would be if a barbarian were to try to use him as an improvised weapon.
We've already talked about
I would
this.
allow a two-handed approach.
Yeah. No.
If
If there was
yeah,
already like a
We've
torch
we've
in there.
discussed-
Well, I already
we're
have
talk-
like
we're
two
talking
extra-
about adding a handle.
I mean,
Like-
I can
I'll
just take,
already have
I can
an
just take
extra
dual wielding.
Hand and a half.
I can just
monk.
take dual wielding feet.
A hand and a half monk. That's fantastic.
Sounds like a D&D sitcom.
Hand and a half.
1.5 monks.
Monk.
All right, so what you guys doing? Yasuo's got light.
Sounds like the same marching order as yesterday. I'm gonna take them to the
Uh huh.
booby traps, and then we're gonna figure out what the hell to do with that.
Yeah. No. I'm assuming you've explained what you found before.
Yeah, squigglies.
All right. So as we're approaching, then I'll turn on the detect magic.
Okay. Activating your detect magic sight.
Shit, that's what you're
How many traps are triggered by magic too, though?
I wouldn't do that as a DM. That would be a douche move.
It's not nice.
So
to like
anyway,
friends.
you,
It's not
you
nice
Hold the
to like
fuck up,
friends.
motherfucker.
so anyway, you activate your detect magic.
This is why we think this way.
You activate your detect magic vision, and you very clearly see 4 arcane glyphs.
Okay.
1 directly on the floor, 2 on the walls directly at the center point, and 1 directly above the one on the ground, on the ceiling.
Without getting close enough to them, without getting very close to them, I'm gonna hold everyone off for a second, and then I'd like to identify what. Thank you. Identify and see what I can figure out about it.
Identification doesn't do a whole lot, but staring at it with the detect magic vision long enough to get a sense of them, And your immediate sense would have been evocation, based on the one that you had seen before. These four have a very strong aura of necromancy.
Oh, fuck.
No thanks. I can check out that.
Well, necromancy doesn't necessarily mean evil, though.
To Arkin, it does.
No, in general anymore, because healing spells technically are necromantic.
I don't think they put a bunch of healing spells on the ceiling.
I'm just saying. That's a good.
I'm sorry. Did your tongue taste like dead flesh for like a whole day? I'm good.
It's actually a very good point.
Yeah, no.
Because Arkin's the one who took one of these to the face.
And then I was
Oh.
like,
So is that confirmed? But
"You've seen these before," and he cackled in his brain.
great. Okay.
It's been a long time. But you've seen these glyphs before.
Great.
I still should have gotten that right.
Anyone got a rock?
We have a Gyatso.
Yeah, so
Same
can you make a
difference.
thingy?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, wait a second, hey, Gyatso. Remember that thing we were talking about earlier about making you a bubble boy?
Hold up, because
Hold up.
hold up. Okay, I know you want to just bounce him around like a fucking rock in a minefield,
I mean,
The
thought of a pole like that traveling 160
but this is
miles
just the
per hour.
ones that we see now. If he keeps bouncing around, what if he hits stuff that his magic ball won't protect him from,
Yeah. Well, no,
Or-
the magical bubble will protect us from everything.
including things that
In
like take
theory.
away magic?
Well, nothing that'll take away
Because
magic.
if I
and
was a
nothing-
magic caster, I would want to take other people's magic away.
Right.
Dwayne Mercier's just at the end of the fucking tunnel, stuck in the wall.
The way to take away someone else's magic requires extremely powerful magic, and there's not very many ways to make something like that permanent in
It
an
doesn't have to
area.
be permanent. It just has to last long enough to like.
I'd have to use metagame knowledge to tell you why it wouldn't work.
And the great news is that you wouldn't have metagame knowledge.
Oh, because this is something James just has. Great. Okay, cool, golden. So we don't know this for certain.
You don't know anything for certain.
You gotta homebrew some shit. Like, why would you?
Well, he's homebrewed this whole fucking thing.
You don't say.
We're walking through a tunnel created by something that dodged the 28.
I don't. It's fine. Don't. I would be afraid to just bubble him and let him like set everything off.
No, I just wanted
All
to set
because-
this off. But that's a fair
But-
point.
Okay, it's like a puppy. He's not going to
He can only move half his movement speed while he's in there as well.
until he activates his stupid fucking belt and then just starts hamster balling down the tunnel.
See,
We talked about having with the hamster.
you're saying it really funny, but there's a serious undertone, and I get that. So shut the fuck up. That one part wasn't directed to you, it was to him.
The front of the bubble traveling 80 miles per hour.
It's still going 40, and I'm not going to just like barrel after him. So he's going to get ahead.
Oh, he's not very far. That bubble will pop out of fucking existence after a certain.
But remember,
certain ranking.
he's already going to use his belt. He loves that belt. He's already talking about using the belt before he's talking about putting it in a bubble.
Yeah.
He's going to be gone. If he hits a physical trap, it can still kill us or maim us.
Pretty sure I have Dispel Magic.
But you have to move faster than him.
Do you have it
Cast
prepared? I know that you have it. You learned it when you had to help Edmund.
Yeah, I've got it prepared. Problem is, there's 4 of them. I don't have. Fuck, that's everything I have for the day.
Do these tend to have a range of activation, or do we have to touch the glow specifically?
You would know that more than I would.
Well, last time I put a fucking lockpick through it.
So you would know that they would have to be touched to be activated.
So does that mean that we can't just set them off with a rock?
Or
I mean-
just walk around them as long as they don't like
There's no
minefield it.
there's no way to know for absolute certain without testing it.
Throw a rock at it.
I mean, yeah, we could throw a rock at it.
I throw a rock at it.
After we back up.
Back up our.
Send in the bomb squad.
There are no rocks in the area.
Damn.
I mean, unless you grabbed a handful of them from the.
Rock slide.
Rush.
God damn it.
After we back
I
away
should've
from
said
it enough, Giops is gonna summon like
Yeah.
not a battle, warhammer, and just
I got a
no,
hammer.
because it's the cavern. This is the
Oh,
cavern. I don't
just
want to
throw
hit anything. I don't
I've
want to
got
hit
extra
anything.
hammer. Just throw a hammer. It's just a normal stick a pin in the ground.
Yeah,
just
weren't
extra
those
hammer.
like Luthani's old hammers?
I didn't take all his stuff. The only thing I stole from him
You
was
said
my
that really
dagger
quickly. You said that really quickly. I didn't
Mind
think
your
all this stuff.
Mind your business.
Yeah, I struck one of those in.
Wait, how come she was able to take shit from
From who?
Lithuania?
I took my stuff back. So
Oh, okay.
because
Right.
remember we had the light cast on that dagger, and the little fucker grabbed my dagger and went in the water.
Yeah.
Because his departure was sudden and unexpected, and so I allowed at least her to get the stuff that was hers back.
Okay, fair enough. I thought she took extras.
Oh no,
No.
if I took extra, it would be that sword just to scare you. Because you'd wake up in a cold sweat, and I'm about to take your fucking spells.
Oh, screw y'all more than anything else, but okay.
Worth it to see the fear in your eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing
This
with
is
it.
Arkin. This is Arkin. We're talking about. Like she would do a lot of things just to see the fear in
So
somebody's
yeah, it
eyes.
would piss me off more
I
than
mean,
scare me.
just ask the troglodyte.
Right?
And the hat.
Not the first or the last time she did that either.
Correct.
Well, it was the first time, but not the last
That was
time.
the first time. Was not the last time.
It's
So
just
anyway,
they confirm they die. Like you don't want to assume. Something.
yeah.
Yeah, no, so you
whatever
just
helps
want
you
to stare
sleep
them
at
in
night,
the eyes
Arkin.
as they fall. That way you can
Whatever
watch the
helps you
light
sleep at night.
I think them dying helps her sleep at night.
Yeah, so far I haven't had anybody able to scream yet.
Well, I mean, the troglodyte was probably screaming, but you didn't hear him. All you heard was
I hear
bubbles
those kind of
popping.
drowning. So you think they're gonna
Yeah.
drown or? So I did the merciful thing.
Again, whatever lets you sleep at night. All right, so what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing?
Throw a hammer.
Okay. Easy enough. I'm not even going to make you roll an attack roll. Tossing a hammer directly onto where the glyph is on the bottom. It skitters across the stone. No effect.
Anyone had something alive?
No.
If he can see the glyph, does that count as seeing the attack? And he gets to use evasion?
What's that?
No, that's not Dex. Dex would be trying to avoid me tossing.
It has energy. I'll summon a knife real fast.
Does your familiar
Throw it
count
at
as
the
something
room and see
alive?
if that does anything.
What happens
I
if
haven't
it
cast
dies?
it.
Okay.
I literally
Making
just got
contact
attacked.
with the rune as your psychic dagger splinters across the stone.
No, I know.
I didn't
No
know if like
effect.
yeet the fucking bat and then like, oh yeah, you never get it back. I was just checking.
Yeah, no.
You know, we might be hitting this the hardest way possible. We could just skip past it.
Yeah,
That's true.
Let's
Can you dimension door?
I can't dimension door. I can misty step myself though.
I mean,
yourself.
it's a large, wide tunnel. As long as the range is specifically on the glyph and not something else around it, we could effectively walk around it. You guys just have to be careful not to touch the ones on the wall and everything else, and we have to go a little slower to make sure we're not.
As far as
Like
you know.
that's how they're placed for all. Like if I was gonna play shit like this, I would like space it out to where you dodge one but you walk into another.
Looking beyond, do I see anything else?
Nope, not within the range of your detect magic.
Hey, that means you get to go first.
About how large are the circles?
Hello, parakeet.
1.5 foot circle.
Oh,
Yeah, you said 18 inch.
It could also be. It could be triggered by proximity. There's no way to know for absolute certain.
And there is nothing alive in the tunnel, right?
Correct.
I mean,
Don't you have a familiar?
I could try testing it.
Mind your business.
try something, but I don't know what it's that.
If you're talking to me, I can't hear you.
Yes, I was saying I could try something, but I don't know if I'd be fast enough to fix it.
I
Try
mean, who's got
Thinking
the
about
highest?
just cutting off my finger, throwing it, and healing it afterwards.
No.
Who's got the?
Bad idea. Really bad idea.
Now, hear
Oh,
him
let
out.
him do
Hear
it.
him out.
He actually has one too many of another appendage that he could use to get
Yeah,
rid
no,
of.
no.
Okay, but this is where
I
we
was
start.
thinking about this one for a while.
This is where we start getting into like the little details. So technically, the cells are alive, but does it count as a
Being
living?
alive.
I mean, for a few seconds afterwards, you still have some sort of life.
You've
There's
pointed
no
out where the
point.
traps are to us, right?
Yeah, there's the
And I
four.
made sure everyone knows.
There's the four
Okay.
glowing.
I'm just going to try and walk around them.
Okay.
Ours don't tired of dealing with our shit.
Yep.
All right. Walking around the glyph on the bottom, you go to step past the glyph. You need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, shit.
All right.
I'm saying is if it hurts, can you make it so we know it hurts?
Unfortunate. 12.
That's a lot of dice.
Well, I'm just emptying my bag.
That's not helping. Have you stuck it with catnip yet?
Yeah, he's still collecting the dice on this one.
Yeah, I'm sure some of those are also for us. Maybe not right this second, but yeah, in a moment.
So the entire cave starts collapsing, and you see all the dolls popping out. If you'd have been drinking instead of
Then I would
smoking,
just
fucking
go and
got you.
like, the glyphs taste like necromancy. The snozzberry tastes like snozzberries. Look along the fucking wall. I would die and deal with the fucking.
Argan shards shooting arrows.
The glyphs taste like dead skin.
Yeah. It's a familiar flavor as you drift off into the abyss.
Screaming, fuck you, Ayo.
Taking a step
You don't kill me, I got my own.
around the bottom glyph, you watch as the bottom glyph flares a sickly purple color. As you take 42 points of necrotic damage.
Whoa!
Immediately upon seeing
Again.
him get hit, I'm
Again,
reversing.
this is familiar. Here's to get your own damage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here,
God.
look, get a pencil, my dude.
It was out of reach.
You watch as a blackish purple necrotic energy seems to drain from his body as he starts to turn gray.
42, you say?
There's 42 points of necrotic damage.
Yeah, I'm reversing that.
So,
Reversing time.
R, you want to come back, bud?
On targeted on R.
Right. After feeling the life force drain from your body,
And top
that didn't kill you, did it?
No.
Okay.
That
I
didn't
had
kill
to
you.
make
No,
sure.
no, you take a couple of those and then you die.
I had to make sure.
He has like what, 3 health points left or something?
I had 26 health points
okay.
left.
You could have gone for it.
You standing back up straight again, feeling the energy come back. Dothrmar, you notice that the glyph on the bottom is now mostly dark. It appears
How many
just
times can you do that?
slowly
Healing
getting
is
brighter
Everyone run across now.
brighter.
Run fast.
And
run,
right.
run,
Run
run,
fast now.
Run,
Run
run,
now.
run,
I'm
Stay away from the walls.
Run.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're running.
What's the marching order going through?
Well,
I said
we
run.
up front.
So,
You're obviously up front.
Yeah,
You
I
make it through.
yeah, I said run. I'm running.
I guess we would have been next to each other and you would have been bringing up the rear.
I guess.
Good news is it doesn't matter.
No.
There's 3 glyphs left. I need all 3 of you to make Constitution saving throws.
Oh.
We guessed
Oh,
wrong.
that's why you. Oh.
We guessed poorly. I told you it's going to be for us. I told you it's going to be for us.
I mean,
There's 3 more glyphs. It's obviously set up in a way that you can't just simply.
So, who can heal?
I can heal a little bit.
'Cause
I-
lucky. Okay,
oh
thank
my
you.
god, we're looking at.
You just got both the lucky users. Oh god, did you just? That's what I rolled the first time.
Someone else lucky my roll, please.
Alexander, bless you. I don't know how that shit works.
Pronepsis, bless you.
Oh, That's
Mark off my
unfortunate.
lucky and then,
I again did not hit double digits, and that's with my bonus.
I got
you said con, right?
Yes.
I would get a +1 to my constitution.
I get +2, so I have 3.
You really have
So Doc died again. No need to roll for his. Good news is now we have a body to test for traps.
Yeah.
Good luck getting home without me.
You all better wait.
Once everyone figures out their like total damage, all mass healing word.
Okay.
We still have healing potions that I gave out.
And
All
then-
right.
And then the magic spells start activating.
Arkin,
10.
you take
Oh
Do I get to evade that? It doesn't count.
not on a
It doesn't
Constitution
count. It
saving
doesn't
throw,
count.
only on dexterity.
I know.
You
That was
take
with the lucky.
63 points of necrotic damage.
I live, motherfucker!
Nearly.
Gyatso,
Mod 20.
mod 20.
I got lucky as
You take 31 points of necrotic damage. A 3. You take 63 points of necrotic damage.
I'm down.
You're down, down?
I'm down.
You're down, down?
I'm down.
I reverse
Han
that
Solo.
one.
I need everybody but Dothrmar to leave the room, please.
Oh no.
Oh, fuck.
Are you
Just
losing?
reverse
I
it
need a
real
cigarette
fast.
after this.
Are you
I just can't reverse.
losing your? Have you lost your conscience already? Going to pay him at debt?
There's
I know you
something's
can
gonna
tell us.
happen, and I don't like any of it.
Oh wait, did you already get that spell set up? The one that does the killing thingy?
Get out.
So.
The sooner we get this over with, the sooner I get a cigarette. Get the fuck out.
Dog is a zombie.
Goodbye, dog.
It's under there. It just fell.
Oh, thanks.
I'm stressed. I'm already stressed the fuck out.
Well, dog is dead.
All right. First off. God damn it. Okay.
As you go to step past the glyphs, you feel all of the life force drain from your body. You feel yourself falling. And just when you think your face is going to hit the ground, you keep falling. It seems far longer than it should be. Suddenly, you feel an impact. Opening your eyes and sitting up, you take stock of your situation. You're sitting in the center of a 50-foot wide circular stone platform. Around you, floating in the air, are a number of bookcases, all facing sideways to you. You can see the side of them, not the actual books themselves, all lined up around the whole entire perimeter of the stone slab.
So they're floating?
Right. Past that, you can see the inky blackness that makes up the entire surrounding around you. Except every once in a while, you get a flash of light in the distance. Just random flashes of light through this inky pitch blackness. From behind you, you hear a voice. It's taken you long enough.
I'm already standing.
Sitting up,
I'll turn around.
you see standing behind you by a wooden table that on your first perusal wasn't there. Very simple wooden table, piled high with books. you see standing there with one book open in his hand. Dothrmar.
Who are you?
Closes the book, sets it on the desk. I'm you. Haven't you figured that out yet?
Where am I? What is this place?
I guess I can't hold it too much against you. You've had a lot more pressing matters on the outside than I have had in here. You're currently inside of the Lore Stone. Upon your imminent death, your consciousness was pulled here. And he gestures around at all of the library, all of the bookcases around him. Knowledge doesn't go to waste around here. In the event of your actual death, all of your knowledge will be stored here, usable by the next person worthy of taking up the mantle. I, personally, am but a splinter of your psyche. I reside here. I hold on to the knowledge that you have stored here. I help you organize, and to a certain limited extent, I help you use the knowledge that is stored here.
Intriguing. This makes complete and total sense based off of how you were treated in the first place.
Yes. I already figured a lot of that stuff out, but it's not exactly something that I can communicate to you. It's a lot different for you on the outside.
I would assume so.
While I'm in here, I have nothing better to do than to pour through the nuances of every small piece of information that I can gather from the outside world. But you, being distracted by any number of other things, there's a lot of things that you might not see or pick up on that I do.
Well, what all have you done?
Well, let's just say I've prepared a handful of things that might help you. I have modified this structure to better suit our needs. In addition to its original function of holding on to knowledge in and of itself, I'm sure you've already learned of the first major modification that I made, in which you can store spells that you can learn later on.
Yes.
I've further made modifications that, with the proper preparation, will allow you to gain access to new and interesting minor magical abilities. The more traditional name for them, the cantrips. I have knowledge of a number of those that you may now change out. A much more useful but very dangerous modification I have made, and it is up to you whether you wish to partake of it. I am now able to hold on to the concentration of a spell.
What's the danger of doing that?
The danger is if you ever lose concentration of a spell while I am holding on to it. If that ever happens, heaven forbid, in a stressful combat situation, you will effectively be incapacitated for the time being. Fairly short period of time, but it is a incredibly dangerous preposition.
Right.
But it would allow 2 concentration spells at the same time. The mechanics are wishy-washy. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort to transfer them back and forth, but it is now at your disposal.
Well, thank you.
Well, don't thank me yet. While I can provide all of this, you are still laying on cold stone. And we simply have to hope that somebody can help you. Otherwise, we will be best friends for a very long time. And I'm sure you are well aware that we are both far too arrogant to stay in the same place at the same time.
I can see that, unfortunately.
And with that, we can have everyone come back in.
We're going to go outside because I'm going to have a fucking cigarette because that's stressful.
I'm going to go ahead and end the stream for just a quick minute so that I can restart on a new video.
And that way you can edit this one.
Yeah, well, because it's editing out the things are such a pain in the ass because it doesn't always let me do it. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream and be back in probably about 10 minutes.
All right.